This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade.
First home game of the season for the Illawarra Hawks at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. As Wetzel is destroying them. Here's Jessup for three. Illawarra lead. Because Illawarra through Harvey find themselves in front.
What a shot from Tyler Harvey.
New Zealand's turn now. 4-second differential between game and shot clock.
Oh my
Wilmer down
goodness.
wide. Gasol has 14 points. 1 of 6 from outside tonight.
Oh
That's a hell of a time to bury one. Harvey, wide open. 14 points for Jeremiah Martin. And playing through him in this double overtime period. What a spin and pass for Wetzel.
Put the ball in that man's hand.
They've got to get something up. Gasol.
Oh
Yes!
my goodness.
A name for the future. Harvey, floater, goes. 97-96. 2.8 seconds on the clock. New Zealand inbound. Gasol slips over. Illawarra hang on and remain undefeated at the Wynn Entertainment Centre in an absolute thriller.
Oh, Tyler Harvey with a season-high 26 points gets the Illawarra Hawks the win over New Zealand on Friday night. They've won 3 games, undefeated so far, but haven't beaten anyone by more than 10 points. So they're being tied in Brisbane. Well, their win in Perth will give them some heart as they get back for their first home game of the season. And they'd like to start with a bang because their best is certainly good enough as we look forward to a clash between the 2 foundation clubs in the NBL. They've been back going since 1979, the Brisbane Bullets and the Illawarra Hawks, and this, I think, is going a little bit closer than most people anticipate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Illawarra, although they're very good, love what they do, pretty much going with a 6-man rotation. Brian Goorjian early in the season sticking with his main guys for most of the games, and Tyler Harvey, we speak of all the great things he did, and he single-handedly did some extraordinary things down the stretch, but he's still 11 of 28, 3 of 13. So the scary thing is he's got plenty more to give, and dang, well, he's playing some solid basketball, but his acting is atrocious. His acting is just really poor on a... Now, that's uncalled for, and there's going to be investigations about Vic Law. You can't go running around headbutting people, but gee whiz, ding. Turn it up, ding. That is something that we don't normally see. And then, well, you know what? He might have actually been a little sore at the Wildcat.
Wilbur had a good time.
Wilbur said, we're not going to cop that here.
Very good time.
Just started to take the mickey out of Ding.
But you're right, Case. This Brisbane team is sneaky good. Had that win over Perth before that loss. Nathan Sobey, ready to go. There's the DoorDash starting lineup. Sobey, Drimmick, Franks, Patterson and Harrison. And good to see Sobey ready to go because he had that chest issue in the second half on Friday night, but he's ready to go for the Bullets.
Well, let's get courtside to John Guana with the latest on Nathan Sobey and more.
Yeah, guys, Nathan Sobey was here and warming up and shooting the ball really well. He looks really healthy. You see him in the starting lineup. He is favoring that chest a little bit, so it'll be something for us to keep an eye on throughout the game, but the Bullets have their big gun out there tonight.
And they're certainly going to need him to be at his best as well.
Didn't look like a whole lot, did it? Just a simple drive from Bryce Cotton and a little fend-off, but not a lot in it. And they're the ones you usually worry about the most because you know something internally is not quite right. But the good news is he did come back, and he's a big part of what they do. But they don't have the same depth of talent as a lot of these other teams. And we take a look at the... is it the DoorDash? Get 50% off Hungry Jack's on orders over $30. Case, just step back. We're just encroaching into your territory there. But Tyler Harvey... He's the man. Jessup's doing some good things. Cleveland provides them with that offensive punch. And Duop Reith. Now, this is a guy that I think has been one of the standout players of the competition so far. May not be the best player in the competition, but we speak a lot about NBA talent. To me, he has NBA talent written all over him.
Well, we don't know who the best player in the competition is. We know who the best coach in the competition is. It's Brian Goorjian. And a little while ago, John Guana caught up with him.
Here with Hawks coach Brian Goorjian. Brian, the team's off to a flying start this season. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I think our additions have settled in real quick. Xavier's done a great job at the point, resting Tyler and taking Tyler off the ball. And obviously the doo-wop performance in these first 3 games has been a center point around the basket, just adding that depth. So we haven't been dominant, we've won close games, and we're growing, but it's nice to win as you're going through that process.
You had a really tough game the other night, double overtime. Quick turnaround here to Brisbane. How's the group feeling here Sunday afternoon?
No, we're relieved on the last one, and Brisbane's playing great basketball right now, and with Patterson and Franks, so versatile players. They can go big, they can go small. They got multiple scorers. They played 2 tough games against a great team in Perth. So the challenge tonight for both teams, and both teams coming off travel in a game, so I'm sure the benches are going to be important tonight.
Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
6-time Coach of the Year, Brian Goorjian there with John Guana. If they start 4-0, well, all 5 times they've done that, they've been to the semi-finals or better, the Illawarra Hawks.
Well, they're a very good team. They're going to be right in the mix at the pointy end of proceedings. But usually, a team coming off a double overtime game, you think, oh, geez, they're up against it in terms of energy, fatigue. Well, Bullets, meanwhile, they're coming back from Perth. So all that cancels each other out. And you always want to win your home opener. Most teams have been able to do that in the NBL this season. And Brisbane right now have that opportunity.
This is the first of 4 home games for Brisbane in a row. Justinian Jessup has stolen the tip away from them. And in front of a good-sized crowd in Brisbane, the Hawks are going to get first look at it. Tyler Harvey share the ball through sets of hands. Sam Froling. Shot clock with 3 on it. Forced into a tough shot, came up empty on that occasion. But they get it done, and Duop Reith continues to be exceptional.
Well, there's that inside-outside ability from Duop Reith. Can score around the basket, but can also step out, give him a bit of space, he'll knock it in.
Loose ball, scooped up by Sobey. Got support in the corner, it rattles around the rim, but it tumbles for Anthony Drimmick. Well, he'll enjoy that. First 3 of the season for Drimmick. Here's Reith once more. A little out of control. He may have been out of court when he had the ball coming back to him.
And it's a tough assignment for Harrison because we saw the play before, splashed the 3 ball. So when you're working on those on-ball screens, you're getting what the rules are, how in which you're going to help and recover to Reith. And see, Reith can put it to the deck as well, take you off the bounce.
Patterson looks inside. Franks decides to fire over the top of Duop Reith. Came up short. And Brisbane have returned to favour. Drimmick in a tangle there with Antonius Cleveland. So Sobey brings the Bullets forward. Drimmick covered by Harvey. Now they work the ball. Patterson taking on Cleveland and off glass, adds 2. Puts Brisbane in front for the first time.
It's an interesting matchup, that. Cleveland being put on Patterson. And that's where Patterson definitely has the advantage. The strength down low, able to score over the top.
Harvey shakes Sobey. Reith attracted the crowd. Came back to him after a good first effort from Harrison, and he finishes it.
And they're the issues I'm talking about with the on-ball screen. Nice little slip pass to get it down low.
Sobey got it from Drimmick, and he goes back in that direction. He's hit from the other corner. Not on this occasion. And Froling off and running. Saw an open keyway, so wants to go coast to coast. Charges into Patterson.
Great push from Froling. Both the bigs were back, Franks and Harrison, and so Froling saw an open lane to the rim, put heat on the defense, put the onus on the officials, got himself to the stripe.
It's interesting with Brian Goorjian, the way in which he's using this personnel. As I mentioned, it's pretty much been a 6.5, 7-man rotation, and in that double overtime game, Cleveland, Jessup, Reith, and of course Harvey all played more than 42 minutes, more than 42 of the 50 available minutes. And I suspect that it's going to be the case throughout most of the season. They're going to be carrying most of the, albeit, you know, dealing with injuries, of course, but if everyone's healthy, it's the way it's going to unfold.
Early burgers as well. The code word is still. The Hungry Jack's free cheeseburgers. Have to enjoy that inside the first 3.5 minutes.
They didn't have to wait long.
And Trimmick can't finish it. They'll get another chance here as Harrison muscles his way in, and from close range, Frolling did a good job there just to keep him at bay. Harvey firing the three. That's off the mark. Loose ball. Scooped up by Drimmick, and now Sobey. Quick outlet pass was ambitious. Wanted Franks. Cleveland awake to it. Put a stop to it. And he started the defensive end. Tried to finish it. Just a little off balance taking the shot and came up empty. Took over 3 minutes played here in this opening quarter. 5 apiece as Sobey wheels around, fires. And you heard the call from Michael Aylan. That's a great defensive play. Harrison shut down Sam Frolling. The fans getting involved as well. Here's Tyler Harvey. Up beyond Sobey. Well, the left hand can't finish it. So both teams with their shooting woes at the moment. Brisbane 2 of 8, Illawarra 2 of 9.
They're reading.
So defense winning at the moment. All deflected out of court.
We saw with Melbourne United their willingness to really push the tempo. We're seeing a similar style from the Illawarra Hawks, and at time Harrison, great D-trans to get back and be able to block that shot. But Illawarra, every single possession, really trying to run it down the floor, which is understandable with the talent they've got. But fatigue can begin to have a factor, particularly after you've just had a double overtime game a couple of days ago, combined with a bit of travel.
Both teams going to their bench early here. And Jason Kadee looking to have an immediate impact as we go courtside to John Guana.
Yeah, guys, I spoke to Coach Brian Gorgian before the game and asked him if he was going to play some guys off the bench that haven't been seeing minutes. He was looking at tonight as an opportunity to get some of those guys some minutes. He knows how important it is to build out that bench. And you see it right away here with Gak getting off the court and seeing some court time.
Tyler.
He's played just 1 minute 30 so far. Gak hasn't seen a lot of it.
Well, you got to do it after the game goes the distance like it did the other night. And we saw Dan Shamir doing similar earlier today. He gave Sam Timmins a whole bunch of run. Isn't usually part of the rotation. So what can AK Gak provide for the Hawks? And it's Polo Gorge.
Yes.
Today.
He mixes it up.
It's the Sunday style from the great man.
Get his fucking hands off.
Oh.
This is Jessup firing unsuccessfully. Franks elevating for the rebound. Brisbane on top by 2. Franks hits your trigger finger and knocks down his opening salvo.
That's what makes Franks so tough to guard. Can get it done down low, gets work done on the offensive glass, but can also pull up off the dribble, knock it in from long range.
But that's a breakdown. We saw against Perth what the capabilities of Franks. You can't let him get that open.
In the corner, Reeve, Gak, shot clock to 2, off glass, comes up with his first points of the season. Kadee dancing, Harrison rolling to the hoop and coming up with a dunk.
Beautiful pass. Jason Kadee makes great decisions in pick and roll actions. Offensive foul called on Cleveland down the other end.
It is, and here's that nice pass, and Gak was just in no man's land. Single side on ball, so you're on the 45 with an on ball screen. Very hard for the guys on the weak side. You've got to come a long way. Gak was in no man's land, putting no pressure on the ball and not being able to help on the roll-up. So easy too, but a nice pass, and we've got a coach's challenge here, Case. Early doors, you'd want to be pretty confident you're going to win it using a coach's challenge, your one and only coach's challenge here. And that's not going to win. I say that's looked from that angle, looked like a charge. Liam Santamarina just give me the stink eye.
Well,
Says,
no,
I'm not so
no,
sure.
I didn't give you this.
There was stink eye going on.
That's a total misrepresentation. And I just look at the extension there of the elbow and the forearm from Antonius Cleveland, and there wasn't a lot of contact there.
You're saying it's flopping.
Well, no, I'm just saying we saw this with Blanchfield and Sobey in Perth last week. We saw it with Xavier Cooks and
I'm saying that's a charge.
Well,
You've got to have some opportunity to play defence. Now, if he's flopped, but I think that's contact between the numbers.
The coach's challenge is unsuccessful. Their foul will be on White 0, offensive foul. They lose their timeout and lose their coach's challenge.
There you go. You're right, Drewy, and it's early for the coach's challenge.
That's right. That's even when you think you've got a good cause. That is a very early one.
I'm telling you, he jumped in front of him. I'll watch it. The last one, everyone told me, they said unsuccessful. I was right the last time. I mean, what's the sense of reviewing if you're not? Did you look at it?
No, I don't get to do it.
Okay.
It all comes from the replay.
Okay.
You coming in?
I'm not sure what he was referring to with a similar one where the confusion has jumped in. But when you look at that tape...
I just didn't see that as being too dissimilar to the Blanchfield on Sobey last week. Where it wasn't the full extension of the forearm. But you and Scott Butler felt similarly.
The foul called on Tyler Harvey.
Good penetration by Kadee. Just couldn't get his hands out the way. I don't think he was trying to reach in. Kadee does a good job with that offhand of just not... There's a bit of hardness about it, where you're just going in there and grabbing it. He does a good job just to link up those arms to exaggerate the contact and goes to the line and shoots them too. Well, certainly nothing underboard by Jason Kadee, but just since the moment, all those years of experience, Kadee comes in and splashes the two.
Clear.
Out to a 7-point advantage here, Brisbane.
Good start.
Very enterprising. Great to see a big crowd in the house as well for Brisbane's first home game of the season. Harvey dancing. This is Reed. Gets it back. Shut down quickly. Krebs did a good job, and the defense from Franks was outstanding. Stopped Reed in his tracks. As Kadee pulls the trigger on the three, it's off the front of the rim.
You get a chance, if you're watching Wigness, who gets the rebound, watch him off the ball. He is playing no help defense. He is just making contact all the time with Tyler Harvey. So he's got a single-minded defensive strategy as Krebs knocks down a three. Good shooting by the Bullets. 3 of 7 from the three-point line. They got a nice 10-point lead.
Yeah, double-figure lead. 3 individual three-point hits. So things happening here for the Brisbane Bullets. Challenging the undefeated Hawks. And they come up empty again through Tom Mays. Here's Krebs. This bench has really had an impact for Brisbane, and Krebs knocks out back-to-back triples, and the margin's out to 13.
Wow, they're shooting it well. The Bullets in this first quarter, and big credit to Jason Kadee. Talk about the bench having an impact. He's come out, and they're playing through him in transition in the half court, and their penetration pitch drew a little bit out from Duop Reed. And dimed up Krebs on the arc.
His willingness to make the extra pass. He's driving into traffic. We saw the one time he drew the foul. The next couple he finds the open man, and the shots are dropping.
Bullets came into this game. They're 3 games so far at 27% from deep. 4 of 8 so far. Margin out to 13. Also on the play, foul's going to be called on Krebs.
We haven't got to the line once.
First personal for Krebs, second team foul. Hawks have 3 fouls so far. Let's get to John Guana courtside.
Yeah, guys, I spoke to Coach Duncan earlier this week, and he said Bullets have plenty of offensive firepower. He had confidence that the bench would get into it and this points would start coming out of that bench. He says it's defense that's going to make or break this team this season, and that's really what he's been focusing on here in the early season.
Well, the Hawks are 3 of 14 at the moment, and they're going to the bench as well. Here's Harry Froling, who played in Brisbane last season. Gets it outside, and the answering triple. Nice impact off the bench from Tim Conrad. Well, they needed that to steady the ship.
Mid-corridor.
Kadee. Lob pass into the corner. Wigness, left hand, tough shot, but he made it look easy. Nice way to open your account.
He did, and again, good recognition by Kadee. He knew there'd be a tagger on that roller. Opened Wigness right up.
Well, he had to go back for seconds there, AK Gak, but he got it done. At the moment, they're struggling to contain the Brisbane Bullets offense. This time, Kadee comes up empty. Chance for the Mays. Jessup goes to Froling. He works inside Conrad. Back-to-back threes. He gets it done, the veteran.
Good decision-making there from Harry Froling. Didn't just blaze away. The shot fake, created some extra space. And then the extra pass for Conrad, who already had his eye in.
Well, Kadee's foul, taking the 3 ball by Jessup. Going to be his first personal, and 3 free throws to come from arguably the best free throw shooter in the competition.
What a luxury it is to have a veteran like Conrad, who didn't take a field goal attempt in that double overtime. Only played the 11 minutes, but he's got that shooter's mentality. He is the Vinnie Johnson for the Illawarra, the microwave off the bench that has a very specific role, and that is to come out, and if you're open, let it fly. He knows that. Coach Gorgon knows that and designs it. His teammates know it. And he is not going to get deterred if he misses a few. And he's not going to get deterred if he's not playing big minutes.
It's interesting to hear Gorgon talk about Tim Conrad. He says, you know what, when I came into this Illawarra program, I made a mistake with Tim Conrad. I thought things had passed him by, and it didn't take me long to realise it hadn't. Got him back into the mix, and we haven't looked back from there.
Tom Mays wheeling and dealing, and eventually found a finish for the Hawks as well. Well, that's just creativity at its best. Inside the last 60 seconds of an entertaining first quarter, Brisbane by 8. Patterson showed some tricks, goes to Kadee, and he knocks down the 3. That's 5 of 10 from deep now for the Bullets.
He's in a real aggressive frame of mind, is Jason Kadee. He's up to 10 points. 7 of those coming from the free throw line. And Froling says it's nothing but cotton from 3. Nice, wide open, and knocks it down.
Combined 9 of 16 from long range, these teams. Shooting the lights out at the moment. Bullets have taken more 3s than 2s. Here's Patterson in the paint. Tough shot, couldn't convert. Harrison wrestling for it. And foul's going to be called on the Hawks.
There's that last 3-point hit from Kadee. Watch Jason Kadee on the right of your screen relocate without the ball. Able to find a bit of space. All you kids watching on from home, you don't just create space with the ball, with your crossovers and your inside-out dribbles. That's how you create space for yourself. Without it, get yourself into the open area. Well, apparently, a good look from the arc.
I've heard, apparently Basketball Australia is basically legislating to everyone that that's called the drift spot.
Okay.
Not the corner, you have to call it the drift spot.
All right.
And the 45's called the diagonal. Now,
you relocated to the drift spot.
To the drift spot, is my understanding. Now, coaches out there, okay, you might want to run with that. If you've got your own language, don't get caught up in the language. you just...
But move.
Call what you want to call it, but what Liam Santamaria is suggesting is absolutely spot on. Your ability to relocate, and every day you should be practicing those shots to the drift spot.
Double-figure lead for Brisbane as we head toward quarter time. Jessup pulls up at the elbow, can't complete it. An opening quarter honours in front of their home fans for the first time this season. Brisbane enjoy a 10-point lead against the undefeated Illawarra Hawks. It's 30-20 on Sunday Hoops. Stay with us here on the Hungry Jacks NBL. Impressive start to the game from the Brisbane Bullets after Duop Reith knocked down the opening score. Brisbane burst out to a 13-point advantage, and at quarter time, it's back to a 10-point spread, 30-20. Great three-point shooting to enjoy on your Sunday afternoon. And in terms of the Kmart Cam, well, today's winner of the $50 Kmart gift card is Becca Hampton. The photo was taken at the Brisbane Bullets game with her husband and brother-in-law. Which one do you think is which there?
I'm not sure. That's a good question, but gee, if you're sending in a photo for your competition, I reckon I probably would have picked a different one than that. But hey, really, when you look at
Drewy,
I'm just saying.
They won the comp.
This is how about Franks with a 3? But really, the credit, they've put up points. 30 points in that first quarter to Brisbane. But it's the work at the other end that's got me. Harvey, Jessup and Cleveland, two of the prime movers, 0 points in that first quarter. And a turnover, a sloppy one at that. So they're doing a great job on the defensive end in containing some of the big ticket items
And
for
as
the
a
Illawarra
result,
Hawks.
it was the work of the benches, Drewy, in the first half at the offensive end. 18 points off the bench for the Bullets, led by Jason Kadee, of course, already in double figures, and 15 of Illawarra's 20 from their reserves.
And interestingly, Harvey hasn't scored in the first quarter all season as Harrison throws down another 2, and we've got a game-high 15-point advantage.
Beautiful pass from Patterson out of the corner, the bullet pass to the big man underneath.
Well, each of those 3 that I'm talking about, they've only had 2 field goal attempts each. All of them 0 for 2. And that's what I talk about where you give credit to Brisbane. They're just not getting the looks. And down the other end, some really good execution. They're causing problems for Illawarra in that middle on ball. We saw it with Kadee, the way in which they're creating shots off the middle on ball. And we've got some issues on the floor.
Let's get courtside to John Guana.
Yeah, Gazy, Coach Duncan was saying pretty much exactly what you were just talking about during the quarter time break. He was really, really happy with the effort and defensive intensity from the Bullets. He gave a particular shout out to Tamari Wiggness as well.
Yeah.
Just doing a great job on the defensive end. He said, guys, though, we got to complete the sets. We have to rebound the ball if we want to get out and run and get those open looks on the offensive end.
And Tamari Wiggness, when you're in that situation, and I don't want to belittle anything that he's done, because he was locked in. He was face guarding, he was making sure, even when Harvey went off, he did the same with Jessup. So he had a really defensive focus. But it wasn't, he didn't have to think too much about it. He had one single focus. There's the cop to the hit to the eye on Tyler Harvey. But it is a lot easier when you're not thinking, well, what am I doing with this on the weak side? What am I doing? Here, you just got a single focus. And like we were talking about the offensive end with Conrad, with the shooting.
Anastasia Palaszczuk, the Queensland Premier there. Of course, the Olympics going to Brisbane in 2032, and they've done a great job. Of course, with the Commonwealth Games previously, Andrew and I were lucky enough to be up in Queensland for the Commonwealth Games.
Spectacular.
And we were in Cairns and on the Gold Coast, and everything that was set up there, if I can just backtrack for a little, I think I might have suggested at the time, this looks like a rehearsal for an Olympic Games, if you ask me, the way they went about it. And sure enough, there it is. It's going there in 2032.
Well, it's the greatest advertising you could have to say, are you ready to host an Olympics? And they put on the Commonwealth Games magnificently.
They'll do the Olympics well.
Best I've ever been to.
Best ever. Better than the ones in Melbourne?
Oh, that's a very good point.
Hang on.
Equal best ever.
What's that beeping noise I can hear? Harvey Short.
That's a good point.
Well, he kept firing. That's his go, and Tyler Harvey eventually breaks the duck. As I mentioned, has not scored in the first quarter this season in 4 games, but still averages 18, so
that's amazing.
He's got plenty to come. But at the moment, Brisbane, well, they are really getting it done. Franks off the mark. They're not shy at the moment either. They've taken 12 threes in 20 field goal attempts, and it's going to be a 3-point shootout, and Jessup might just be the best of the lot of them.
Great find from Harvey. I think some of that lack of scoring in first terms for Harvey is he's got more weapons around him this year. So early in games, he's trying to get others involved and found a bit of space himself, and then in transition, cross-court look. Justinian Jessup ready to fire.
Timeout called, back-to-back buckets from the Hawks.
We're going to go one side for you. They're going to red you, all right? You're going to come up. We're going to hit them, okay? As that's happening, remember, you're going to the corner, but you got to screen to get them open first, all right? As that happens, so as you have the ball, they're going to red this situation. Whoever the wing is, it could be Drim, it could be LP. We're going to hit LP. You're rolling to the basket, all right? Maybe here, if we hit here, his man's going to tag, back cut, layup, or if these man overhelps, just pass it to the corner and we have what we have, all right? Play out of that.
I have to say, I've been super impressed with James Duncan. Rookie coach, last year, of course, an assistant with the Sydney Kings. I was in the huddle down in Tasmania on opening night, and in such a difficult scenario for your first game as coach, overtime, Sobey gets it thrown out. The way he kept his calm and the way he's gone about it since then, I can see why the Brisbane Bullets decided to go with him.
And that is true. And quality guy, he's doing a great job here, but it's a stretch to call him a rookie. He's coached in many places throughout the world.
NBL rookie.
And also here as an assistant coach to Will Weaver. And so he has got a little bit more experience than some of the genuine rookies. And Lamar Patterson is not a rookie, and he is knocking it down from the three-point line.
Good adjustment from the Bullets. Duncan spent that whole time out drawing up a play. Sobey gets his mitts on that one.
And a chance now for the finish, but Patterson shut down. Well done by Froling, and Harvey just caught in no man's land travels.
Yeah, they called the play against the man-to-man defense. Brian Goorjian came out of the huddle.
Little zone.
In a little 1-2-2 zone, which took Brisbane by surprise for a moment. But they worked their way through it, found the open man in Patterson, and he knocked it in.
And that's the risk of going to a zone. You do become a little exposed with some of the marquee players that can knock down the three ball, and that gets Patterson going. Knocks down a three, starts to feel a bit better about himself.
Harrison rejected by Tuop Reeve, kept alive by Trimick, and he's off to the free throw line. His three-point shooting had 13 threes in total by 10 different players. 5 on each team have knocked down a three.
It is. It's been some really good three-point shooting and good energy that time by the Bullets. And it's good to take note of Patterson, and clearly he comes into this one a whole lot better shape. Last season for Brisbane, when he was backing up 48 hours after games, Patterson shot 33% from the field compared to 43% in games with a longer break. So this one's a good test for him to see how he copes with a quick turnaround, a flight all the way from Perth, and he does look in far better condition with the work that he spent staying in Brisbane, playing in the NBL1.
His whole demeanour looks a little different. Here's a chance now for the Hawks, out and running. Jessup with support, and Frolic comes up with the finishing touches, his first points in the game. But it's still Brisbane by 10. Remembering that the Hawks got down 15 against the New Zealand Breakers 48 hours ago. They have to dig themselves out of this one as well. Just 3 minutes played in the second. Sobey Fallaway, his first score in the game. They've got 40 and Nathan Sobey's only got the 2. Good signs. He's flying again against Big Lou. Fans thought he'd travel. Referees didn't see it that way. Shot clock works to 5 here. Jessup against Sobey. Got his hands full. He's forced to pull the trigger. That was a big ask, and he wasn't far away, but Sobey off and running. Patterson. Charles Froling outside the paint. Big Lou lurking under the bucket at the moment. Patterson decides to go solo. It was short. And a chance for the Hawks. Cleveland going coast to coast, running past them and then showing them a big bag of tricks.
Wow, what a push from Cleveland, putting all kinds of heat on the rim. The Hawks in transition, and here, there was just no stopping him. No. Rising up with the one hand as he got the step on Franks. An absolute rack attack from Antonius Cleveland.
Well, he gave us the reverse treatment in Adelaide in that first game that he played. He is exciting to watch, Antonius Cleveland. Really impressive stuff. Brian Goorjian down 10 at the moment. He's got his hands full.
Now, we want to keep pushing the ball. You find reverse step-ups and shakes. In the half court now, we want to run loops and bring the Chinese kid to the on-ball, all right? Bring the Chinese kid to the on-ball. If he's guarding him, then you get to a tuck position. Get down there and tuck, all right? If it's guarding you, you're the guy setting the pick. Are we good? Bring him up. Bring him up right there. All right. Hey, it's bunker down and get stops now. We're right there. Bunker down, this now, right now.
Brian Goorjian identifying a mismatch that he sees with Big Lou down on the on-ball screens, and I like it. They're going to test him on that screening situation, and if they get ahead of steam, and if you knew that's coming, this is where defensively, to try and protect him, you've got to try and force him away from the screen. Don't let the ball carrier use him, ice it, blue it, whatever you want to call. Stay connected and have him just shoot overhand. If you're settling for contested mid-range with Big Lou shooting over Big Lou's hand, okay, well, you live with it. But what you don't want to do, if you accept the screen, you're coming from behind and you don't get a position on the roller and you're forced to tag and you get those rotations, you're playing catch-up. But if you can force them to not use the screen, you're in a better defensive position.
Just a short delay here while we attend to some blood on the court at the moment. Interestingly, Brisbane have used 10 players so far, but no Tom Digbert, the next star. Hasn't been used as yet.
Well, he hasn't been a regular part of the rotation, Digbert. Certainly got some tools. We've seen that.
Highlight moments,
didn't he? Throw one down in Perth the other night.
He did. It was almost a replica of what he did in Tasmania in the preseason. Loves that right-hand side baseline drive, go up with the two hands, and just with a little bit of extra sort of degree of difficulty to it all. A little tuck and go back up and stuff it in.
Sam Froling just got the rig out. He's changing his jersey. He's going to rock the 79. The blood jersey, because he had some blood on his singlet. But interesting, just keep an eye on Big Lou these next couple of defensive possessions as Drew was breaking down there out of the huddle from Brian Goorjian. It's going to be the challenge for Big Lou this season. Teams are going to try to challenge him in these types of situations, put him in situations where he has to defend the on-ball. Can he move his feet, manage those actions? He's going to have to miss a couple of possessions here as he gets the blood cleaned up.
225 centimetres, 130 kilos. He is a massive unit. And as Cleveland to the free throw line, make the extra. So the margin cut to 9. It was as big as 15. We started this quarter with Brisbane on top by 10. After the Hawks had knocked down the first 3 of the game through Duopere. Sobey, Franks, working on Reed. Goes with the left hand. Jumped out of the cylinder. Loose ball. Harrison kept it alive. Now Krebs. They can reset here. Patterson, top of the key. Took over 4 minutes played in the second. Patterson had it dislodged. Good active hands there from Sam Froling.
Really good. Coming out, and that's what you teach. When you come in, you want to dig at that ball to try and force the defense to retreat, or at the very least go laterally if you're showing. And he did a really good job of that reach in without fouling.
4 on the shot clock here for Brisbane. Lob pass in from Sobey. Franks. Well, they left him alone, and he gets down low with the left hand off glass to add 2. Batar Mays with it, working on Krebs. One way back the other. Now Cleveland. He decides to fire the 3. We've seen the dunk. This time the 3 won't work. Reed just got a fingernail on it. Kept it alive. That's ambitious inside. And Batar Mays looking for Sam Froling. The ball knocked down out of court. Hawks restart with 11 on the shot clock. 5.5 out from half time. And Rattan Mace with a hook shot. That was ambitious.
That's poor.
Harrison put a stop to it. They're up the floor quickly. I like the transition from the Brisbane Bullets, and Patterson knocks down the three.
Really poor defensive transition. Brian Goorjian in his scout would have said, hey, no open threes for Lamar Patterson, and just no one there, even late closeouts in that transition opportunity.
Exploring Tyler Harvey. He is hard to stop. Up to 5 after scoreless in the opening quarter. The margin is 12, middle stages of the second. Krebs with it, Sobey. Shot clock to single digits. Krebs has been good so far, and his confidence is growing. Fall away, this time short. So Harvey finds Sam Frolling. Kicks outside for Reed. In the corner, Dob Reed knocks down the three.
That is really tough. Hand in his face, Dwight Reed. Still able to knock it down.
Harrison gets the 2 at the other end. He's up to 8 points, 5 boards now for Harrison. Leads the rebound count in the game. Foul's going to be called on Brisbane. Krebs picks up the foul. Third team foul on Brisbane in this quarter. Krebs with his second personal.
Good kick out. Wasn't bad rotations either. Franks carries a hand, and Duop Reith with that length makes it harder to really put a strong contest on that shot.
Well, 3 points just continue to drop here. How about that from Xavier Rattan Mays, or a 2 on that occasion? But shooting is good. 50% from Brisbane, 48 from the Hawks. A little untidy there, but Sobey now with it. Shot clock to 8. Sobey splits down the middle and is fouled. He's off to the free throw line.
Well described, Case. That split of the defense there from Sobey was beautiful. Look at the handles here as he splits the gap there, gets a foot past one Frolling and draws the foul on the other at the rim.
The pace, the change of pace, the little low dribble to get underneath the defender and still find his way to the rim. Nathan Sobey, one of the elite athletes we have in the NBL.
Third in MVP voting last season. Tyler Harvey was second in MVP voting. Just behind Bryce Cotton. And started the season in style as well. Nathan Sobey with the 24 points in Tassie.
He just had the 7 points the other day, didn't he? Case 2 of 11 from the field, but he wasn't himself.
No.
In that second half after the hit to the chest or the injury that he sustained, but toughed it out, and he's toughing it out again here for his team.
Tight second quarter. Brisbane lead at 19-18. But overall, it's an 11-point edge. Shot clock to 2. No joy for the Hawks on this occasion. 7 of 12 from deep at 58%. And Brisbane at over 50% as well from deep as Sobey comes up empty.
If I'm Brian Goorjian and the way Wigness is playing, super exposed to backdoor cuts.
This is Frolic from outside. And against his former team, he joins the party. So margin down to 8. 2.5 remaining until half-time. Sobey exploring. Whistle on the play, draws the foul. Third team foul on the Hawks in this quarter.
I love it when your spidey senses start tingling,
Oh,
Rory, about the opportunity to punish the overplay.
Yeah, my eyes are lighting up with the way Wigness is playing because he's small. And, yep, give him full credit because he's locked into the job that he's been given. But what's the penalty to that? The penalty to that is a slight little eyebrow fake, a little push off either foot, you're back cutting, and it's just a matter of whether your teammate can get you the ball, and it's an easy 2.
If only Nigel Purchase or Warwick Giddy or Daniel Egan,
well,
any
really,
of those guys were on the floor ready to find him.
Or Brian Gorgon.
Okay.
Brian Gorgon, did you see the footage they released?
Yes,
with the
outstanding.
shorty shorts. That's where it all started. He really helped me establish that backdoor cut option. He was throwing passes that he had no business throwing just because he was encouraging me to continue to run a backdoor cut, and sowed the seed to how easy this game can become.
Free throw count is ridiculous. 15-3 in favour of Brisbane.
Well, that is ridiculous.
You're changing your mind.
I've read the wrong stat. I'm looking up here at fouls.
Free throws, 13 of 15. Brisbane. Illawarra, 1 of 3. So it's Brisbane by 10. Tick over 2 minutes out from half-time. Deng with it. Here's Wigness trying to use his speed, but Harvey wasn't buying it. Shot clock rolls to 6. Patterson in traffic. Deng fires over the top of Harry Froling. Tough shot. Sam Froling grabs the rebound, and now Wigness will pick up his first personal. 4th team foul on Brisbane in this quarter. Great to see a near full house though in Brisbane as well. Atmosphere would be pumping there at the moment, and they've got a lot to look forward to. We've seen it already. They've upset Brisbane, upset Perth in Perth.
They've got a star in Franks.
They've got a star in Franks.
Oh, they've got a few stars. Sobey, Patterson.
Patterson getting back to his very best.
He can make some noise, and these two teams date back to 1979. They've had some great contests over the years.
Why don't you call anything? Our end, you're underneath the basket.
Well, what confused me, you're right with the free throw count. 13, they've had 15 as opposed to 3. But the foul count is 8 to 7. So the foul count, and that to me is just the attack
He's
on the rim.
He's on the baseline, not calling anything. What do you want me not to say anything and just continue? I've waited.
There's too much now. We've got your message. Just tell
Well, do something about it.
Well, you can only... We can't just make fouls up.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, he's great for the league, Brian Gorgon.
Oh, is he ever?
In so many ways. Look, the margin's back to 8. 90 seconds out from half-time. As big as 13 in the first quarter. Got out to 15 here in the second. How's that from Kadee? Just tiptoeing his way past Harry Froling along the baseline, but they've come up empty.
Ooh, just in bounds. And just the deflection. I think he came off the leg was the call.
No foul. No foul. Stay in front.
Mays with it. Here's Jessup. Hasn't given him a lot of peace so far in the game. Jessup just 1 of 4 from the field.
Well, that official on the baseline down this end, I reckon he's ready to call a shooting foul. Is that Gorge staring him down from the sideline?
Adam Mays, shot clock to 5. Sam Froling. Spinning, lost a handle on it. They've got problems here. He's forced to fire up a tough shot. Harry Froling got the offensive rebound, and now he's drawn a foul on Jason Kadee, his first, and free throws to come now for the Hawks.
Here's the effort from Froling.
No question about the foul. Kadee coming in to help out. Kadee had those 10 points in the first quarter, and
they haven't played through him as much.
Well, that's right. And what happened was in that first quarter, he was doing a lot of work off the on-ball screen.
Yes.
Haven't put him in on balls as much in this second period, and I think that's been a mistake. We saw him getting to the rim, had those 7 free throws, 7 of 7 from the free throw line, and if he wasn't getting there, he was dishing it out. Let's see what they do in these closing stages.
Harry Froling up to a team-high 8 points along with Duop Reith. They've got 9 scorers so far. On cue, Andrew Gage wanted some Kadee action, and there you go.
I thought it would come out with more with the ball stuff, but that time off the ball.
Jessup, the answering 3, can't make it. Deng with the rebound. So the margin at 9. Shot clock 5 seconds inside the game clock as we head toward half-time. We started this quarter with Brisbane on top by 10. Got it out to 15. What can they come up with here? Sobey. 2 on the shot clock. Deng forced into a tough one. Never looked likely. And it trickles out of court. So 2.8 is the call on the clock.
No fouls. Throwing deep.
And the Hawks can have the last say here. Conrad restarts, awkward pass, Ruffin Mays, half court. Oh, he's knocked down, taking the shot. No whistle on the play. Half-time arrives here, and it is the Brisbane Bullets who hold sway by 9 points. They are by 10 at quarter time, but it's 54-45 here at the major break.
Good, fun contest, high-quality affair we've got. Both teams shooting the ball really well from the three-point line, and this is going to go into the wire. This has been a really good first up performance by the Brisbane Bullets on their home deck.
Let's get courtside for this reaction with John Guana.
Hey guys, I've got Jason Kadir with me at the halftime. Jace, you guys are up by 9. What are your thoughts on that first half?
Yeah, pretty good for us. We had to come out with a bit of energy. We obviously let ourselves down in Perth with that. And so to be up 9 at the half, I think we should be up a little bit more, but you take it.
I know Coach Duncan's preaching defense. What do you think his message is going to be in the locker room?
Same thing. We did a pretty good job for most of it, but then some silly turnovers. They're such a talented group. You can't just give them easy ones. And so I think that helped us keep them to 45, but it probably could have been a little bit less.
Well, that's a great first half. Thanks, Jace. Good luck in the second half. That's going to do it for this first half of action. It's a 9-point Bullets lead. Don't go anywhere, though. We're heading to an exciting finish here at Nissan Arena.
Welcome back. Half-time in the Hungry Jacks clash between Brisbane and Illawarra, and the foundation clubs are going at it strong as well. Hawks drew first blood, but at quarter time it was Brisbane in front by 10. Got it out to 15 in the second on the back of some outstanding shooting. And a 9-point edge is where we sit here at halftime, 54-45. Lots to like about this game, though, Andrew.
It is. This is a high-quality game, and it's a fun game. Both teams getting up and down. Good defence being played, but sometimes it's better offence. And I think Brisbane have done a really good job on the defensive end. We see a few makes here, but when you think Cleveland only has the 3 points, and the way in which they've been able to pretty much take Jessup and Harvey, they've only both got 5 apiece out of the contest to a certain degree. It's encouraging signs. And down the other end, really methodical. They get into their sets and have identified their targets. Jason Kadee was outstanding. 13 points, a couple of assists, and the creativity that he's brought with his penetration. And Franks, well, he's a star of our competition. He's got the 8 points. Really patient. I like the way that these teams are not getting anxious, or these stars aren't getting anxious about getting the ball. They're playing within the system. If you look at the numbers right across the board, it shows the evenness of the competition. Good shooting on both. And the other thing is the turnovers. Only 6 turnovers to Illawarra, 4 to Brisbane. So they're about on par. That's some decent numbers as far as taking care of the ball as well.
Particularly with so much intensity around the ball as well. Brisbane has 8 scorers and the Hawks have got 9, so there's plenty of good offensive execution. Let's get to the analysis centre with Liam Santamaria, who can break it down on the Brisbane end of things.
You're right, Case. 54 points on the board for the Bullets, and it's been a combination, as Drewy says, of meticulous execution and also the Hawks not quite as on point defensively as they have been in recent games. Here we have a look at the Bullets sideline out of bounds, and as we run the play, just keep an eye on the action here with Nathan Sobey. So Sobey here inbounds it, turns himself into a screener. Tyler Harvey, not a lot of help. He wants to stay attached to Nathan Sobey, and this is the man here, Sam Froling on the weak side, who needs to be ready to help. And if he doesn't, well, this is what's going to happen. Robert Franks turns the corner and he's right on the rim. Late contest, doesn't get it done. And then you see here, this is the play they ran for Jason Kadee late. Good execution here. And you can see again, Franks here is the screener. A little bit of a lack of communication here from Sam Froling and Justinian Jessup. The screen comes as a surprise to Jessup, and then as he tries to recover, Kadee, shot fake, wide open 3. So good execution from the Bullets. The Hawks, they need to improve their defensive effort in the second half.
Yeah, well done. Nice analysis there at the analysis centre. We're still working for perhaps a more stronger name, or something a little more pizzazz or fizz about it, as you like to say.
Well, I like what he's bringing to the table.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm just talking about the analysis centre.
Yeah, we
need
need
NBL22 if you want to get some suggestions for us as well.
A nice name for it, and can't wait till they let me loose in there. We might need a little longer than the 30 or 40 seconds that's been dished up so far. But at the end of the day, he's spot on. It's been really good execution, and unlike we saw with Melbourne United in the earlier game, although there's some good intent and ball pressure, the Brisbane Bullets haven't really been pushed out of their stuff too much. They're able to make the passes and get to their spots relatively easy, and as such, their percentages are pretty good.
Let's talk about Tyrell Harrison, his 5th year in the competition, a 22-year-old. This is going to be his breakout year, or needs to be given. They've given him all the responsibility in the middle. He's had led the game in rebounding, double-figure rebounding 2 times already. And he's making good plays.
He is. He's really matured. Remember when he first came into the competition, and obviously his size was always going to get him an opportunity, but really good hands, reading the defence patiently. A couple of years ago, that would have been a charge. He just would have bullied his way in there. But now seeing the floor, becoming a passer, and rebounding is obviously a big part of what he's doing. 8 points and 6 boards are really good numbers. And Reith on the other side, he's a star. He's been around, played at a big college, LSU's, played in Europe, and of course was a member, albeit not a really significant role with the Boomers. He was still very much a part of it. And it's the inside, outside, the size that he brings. He's got good touch around the basket, can protect the rim, but he's been able to knock down the 3 ball and then put it to the deck. Here he is, and that's that size I'm talking about. You've got a decent defender And not a bad closeout, but just where he can get to the ball at his release point makes it a lot easier to feel good about shooting and letting that three fly with a bit of pressure on him.
8 points so far for him. He's coming off 19 and 12 against New Zealand and 27 and 7 in Sydney. Big game player, and he needs to step up here in the second half because at the moment it's the Brisbane Bullets with a 9-point advantage. 54-45 is the equation. Hope you can stay with us here on the Hungry Jacks NBL Sunday Hoops. We've got a very good contest going on here between the number 1 and number 9 ranked teams on the NBL ladder. But at the moment, it's the number 9 team, Brisbane, who are on top. Let's get a word with their coach, James Duncan, who a short time ago spoke with John Guarna.
Here with Coach Duncan. Coach Duncan, you guys lead at the half. What were your thoughts on the first half of action?
Competitive, back and forth, both swinging at each other, taking each other's punches. But obviously we got to do a better job on the glass and then getting back in transition.
I know you preached those little things in defense. Were you happy with the effort in the first half?
There was definitely signs of what we've been talking about since the preseason and early on in the season, getting our hands up and being more active. We just need to be more consistent in that area.
Well, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Just struggling with the old vocal cords there at the moment, James Duncan. I guess with such a raucous crowd, you need to make yourself heard, particularly in the huddles. That's not good. But at the moment, his team is good. And so is Justinian Jessup. Nice finish to get scoring underway in the second half.
Well, they always like to run some action for Jessup to begin the game, to begin the second half, try to get him going. Yeah, he was able to float it in for 2.
Krebs at the other end. In fact, Drimmick, excuse me, couldn't finish it. Sam Froling converted to the number 13 singlet. They gave him some latitude. Harrison was just slow to react, but was good with the recovery and rejected the shot. Sobey running, shut down by multiple opponents. But now he goes on with it, and it was a good option as he helps himself to 2 more.
Just probed his way to that. Had a look, pulled it out, and then with the left saw an opening. No help defence.
Game rejection. Reith stays with it though and makes it fit. 8 points in the first half. Do up Reith. Margin 7, and this high-quality affair continues here. Harrison for Sobey. Patterson wanted it down in the low block against Cleveland, but it's Sobey lobbing it to Harrison, who knew what to do next.
That's a high IQ play from Nathan Sobey. Just a perfectly weighted, timed, loopy pass to the 7-footer near the rim.
Cleveland's penetration is good, leaning in, gets 2 of his own.
Well, that's twice this time. They've run that little zoom action where there's a screen followed by the handoff. They come in and they're curling to the basket. First it was Jessup, and that time way too easy the way they can get to right deep into that paint. Oh, that's a poor pass.
Picked off. Harvey fires, can't complete it. Here's Cleveland just pushing Sobey out of the way and helping himself to 2 more.
He's going to cop a flop warning for that, Nathan Sobey.
Really?
Michael Allen gave it the little up and down signal.
Oh, he definitely flopped, but I didn't know whether it was big enough flop to warrant the warning.
I think it might be coming his way.
Hawks on the move here, close to within 5. Haven't been this close since the opening quarter. Patterson stripped of it. Active hands again. Cleveland making things happen here at the start of the 3rd quarter, and the Bullets have seen enough. Timeout is called because the Hawks are back to within 3.
Well, they've come out of the gates and they've done it with their defence. A couple of turnovers. There's a sign of the new times. A pull-up 3 in transition when it's a one-on-one situation, but they still get away with it. Good follow-up. There's the flop. That definitely was a flop. Whether it warrants a warning or not, we'll find out. But this is some concerning times from Brisbane as Illawarra crank up the D.
We've been here. All right, we've been here. We got to move it. We got to stay consistent with that. Trust it. Trust it. Let's go one side. Let's go one side here. One side here. All right? You got to set that screen to get them open, then you're going to the corner. You set your screen, roll to the basket, and see what we get out of it. If they're in zone, we go chin.
Well, like I said at halftime, they were there and there's some solid defense, but not that same level of ball pressure. And this one here, we've already seen the sloppy pass by Patterson lead to a transition, and then a quick show on the screen where they get stripped. It leads to another turnover. So they've cranked up their pressure on the ball, and they've been instantly rewarded with a couple of easier transition opportunities.
5 of 8 from the field since half-time. It's a 10-4 run out of the break for the Hawks to be back within 3. They haven't been this close since the first 2 minutes of the game. The Bullets being challenged here. Fans had the energy sucked out of them for the moment. Patterson looking to try and alleviate the situation. Needs a trip to the free throw line.
And he does it perfectly with going into the body of Froling. Froling there, he knows Froling's length and is a decent shot blocker, so he just drops the shoulder. See that? You can see it perfectly from that angle to make sure that he doesn't give Froling a chance, firstly, to block it, and then gives himself a chance to pick up the free throw, but he can't knock down the free throw. But that's perfect execution by the big. He does it better than anything. He uses his body. He's not explosively athletic, but he's crafty in the way he uses his wide frame to create those scoring opportunities.
He struggled from the free throw line this season. Coming into this game, 3 of 7 at 44%, Patterson. None of 2 there. Here's Sobey running. Dangerous in this situation. Knocks his way to the bucket. Can't complete it. Back the other way. Reith knocks it down, was bumped in the process, and a chance of a 3-point play as Patterson picks up the foul.
Well, they punish him going the other way, don't they? The Hawks. Sobey unable to finish, and then the Hawks had the numbers. Cleveland recognised the height advantage for Reed, put it up in the air for the big fella, and one opportunity.
This is where your offense has got to help you out if you're the Brisbane Bullets. A couple of missed free throws, which Patterson's got to make those. And then Sobey with the one down the middle misses one that 9 times out of 10 you expect him to make. And it does help alleviate some of the challenges on the defensive end if you can just put the ball in the hole.
13 points to 4 in 3.5 minutes since half-time has us back on level terms. Patterson harassed, wants Harrison inside, drawing a foul. And it's going to be on Tyler Harvey, and that's going to be his 3rd personal.
Something to think about for Harvey. Brian Gorgian. Another look at it here, reaching in. And there's been a lot of Nathan Sobey and a lot of Lamar Patterson in the half court for the Bullets these last couple of minutes. Not much Robert Franks.
No.
Having a difficult time getting a catch.
Only had the 6 shots, 3 of 6 from the field. Find a way to get him more involved.
Here he is with it. Sharing it with Harrison. Wigness putting on the Jets. Nice finish from him.
Instant impact off the bench. Patterson goes for a sit down. Wigness right to the rim.
Harvey shares it brief. Goes back in that direction. There's Cleveland, reluctant to fire from 3-point territory. Caught the front of the rim. Sobey. In traffic. Gets an open man. Krebs this time short.
Sometimes it's harder when you're that wide open. He just slowed down his technique a lot. Wasn't fluent with it. He came up well short and throwing with a little bit of not this way, I'll drop back that way and kiss it off the glass. Nice footwork. I tell you, this has been a good performance by Wigness as well. Had a couple of DNPs already, given an opportunity, and he stepped up. There's the little razzle-dazzle shake and bake that we see down low. Harrison got to do better. When he's going, got to go one, just keep him going one way, don't allow him to spin back the other. You've got to be way more aggressive to contest that shot.
Hawks back on top here for the first time since they knocked down the opening shot of the game. They were down by as many as 15 in the second quarter. Started this term 9 in arrears. And now they're in front and restricted Brisbane to 6 points so far, and add another 2 now for Harrison.
Right back at you. Down the other end. Harrison this time catches it in the block, and Sam Frolling's got to do better than that.
The question
defensively.
The big question I have, tide's going against you. You've given up a lead. Kadee's been your highest scorer, and he's yet to come back into the contest. Now, get stuck in your rotations and your timing and how you want to spread your minutes, but context of the game, to me, it seems like there's a nice little rip to the baseline. As I said, Harrison needs to do better. Froling needs to do a lot better on that drive. But surprised that they've gone with Wigness ahead of Kadee in this second half.
Shot clock to 7. Harrison stripped of it by Harvey. It's down out of court.
Here comes Jason Kadee. Deng coming in as well. And you're right, that offensive execution that we highlighted at halftime for the Bullets, it hasn't quite been there over the first 5 minutes of this third quarter. Haven't been able to get what they want out of their sets as the Hawks ramp up the D.
Wigness works to the elbow. Can't finish it with a shot clock in the background. And now a chance for the Hawks to retake the lead. Harvey lost control of it. Looked for Reed that was knocked down by the active hands of Tanner Krebs. 4.5 to play here in the third. Jessup paying close attention. Krebs. Drop Reed, not just a shot clock. Roll to 8. Now a foul going to be called on Tammy Wigness. His third personal, third team foul on Brisbane in this quarter.
It's a real different look that we're seeing from Brisbane, where we have no Patterson on the floor.
Yeah, no Sobey.
No Sobey and no Franks all at the one time. That's unusual when you're struggling to put points on the board.
And there are only 3 players who average double figures for this team as well. Frank's 23, Addison 18, Sobey 17, then it drops to 6 for Harrison and Kadee.
Straight away, Franks comes back in. Sometimes you do that because you get a 5 that pretty much practice together most of the time when you're at practice, and you see from time to time what they can bring. It might be the specific area that you're looking at. So it's not completely unusual, but just in the context of this one, it seemed a little unusual to have all 3 of those guys off at the one time.
No opposite.
Kadee with it. Uses Dan, baseline, can't convert. Reef drags down the big board. Offensive foul, as you heard at the other end. Krebs and Harry Froling crash to the deck. And Harry's picked up the foul. Oh. There it is in replay. Let's get to John Guana at courtside.
Yeah, guys, I think Coach Duncan's looking for a defensive spark, not an offensive spark. They're struggling early here in the quarter to stop the Hawks. That's why I think you see a weakness out there. And just a side note also, Harry Froling and Tanner Krebs used to be roommates when they were both on the Bullets.
Well, I know one another's game very well. Tip-in works for Brisbane.
Oh. Krebs wants to let the scorer know that I was the one that actually got the tip.
Sometimes you just got to make sure they know.
The 4 unanswered points from Brisbane puts them back on top by 3. So the momentum is with the Hawks for the moment. A little over 3 minutes out from 3/4 time. Kadee attracted all the attention. Down Dang, and he travelled. Turnover number 7 for Brisbane. The Hawks have 10 in that category. Brian Gorgian wants to chat about it.
Just, you saw the left foot. What's the left foot? Drags the left pivot foot. And that's where he gets pinged for the travel.
Good. Good work, good work. Now, keep the push of the ball. We've still got the step-ups and the shakes. On the walk-up now, we want to go down and play off those picks with you two, all right? If we go twice, you're looking as much as you can is a roll in into the block. Now, when we roll it into the block, we want to move off it. So the ball goes into the block, and it's fed down here. We want to run that split game at the top. This action, ball goes in here. This guy looked to pick the weak side. Do you understand what I'm saying? You got to have movement when the ball goes into the post.
Hey, stack up the wave here. Second one's a diamond. All right, second one's a diamond. Hawks, 1, 2, 3. Hawks.
Wait, you don't have to worry about it.
It was all about the offensive end there in that huddle with Brian Gorgian, making sure everyone's on the same page. Rattan May's running the point out there, and he's got the shooters in Justinian Jessup and Tim Conrad. They run the shooters off some picks and then look at rolling it in down low.
Jessup involved again with Rattan Mays. Shot clock to single digits. Down low. Reed double team. They left Justinian Jessup wide open. He couldn't make them pay. Harry Froling kept it alive, only as far though as Krebs and now Kadee.
Stay down.
Game in the balance. Heading toward 3/4 time after Brisbane had enjoyed a double-figure lead in both the first and second quarters. So the momentum is switched. And the Hawks are coming, looking to remain undefeated with 4 straight wins to start the season. No continuation. Their offensive foul called on the Hawks.
Oh, jeez. Rattan Mays looks a little bemused. See him here.
Oh, my.
Be handy to have a coach's challenge right now.
Yeah, there's no push-off there.
No.
That's just...
His left hand was engaged
We let him
in
when
the
you're
battle
running.
there with weakness, but no push-up.
You let him move your arm when you're running.
Kadee with it. Shot clock to 7. He likes the look of it from the top of the key. He's been good all afternoon. That's 4 triples now for Jason Kadee.
That's just too much space for Kadee. as we say, makes good decisions off those ball screens, and there, you give him that kind of space, he'll make you pay.
He scored 7 unanswered points after the Hawks had taken the lead. Watching back and threading the needle, Harry Froling finds Conrad somehow down the baseline.
It had to be perfect, and it was.
Froling doing it at both ends here. Good defensive play. This time Conrad caught it in rhythm. He's short, gets his own rebound. And Harry Froling, confronted by Harrison, goes by him and helps himself to 2 more. Having his best game this season, into double figures.
This is precisely what the Hawks wanted when they signed Harry Froling late in the off-season. Couple of knockdowns from 3-point territory, his passing skills on display, giving them really good minutes off the bench.
Corner 3 is good. Tammy Wigness comes up with his first triple. They continue to shoot the ball from 40% and above from long range, both teams. And Reed wants to be part of it, can't connect. So Brisbane by 5 with possession inside the last 60 seconds of the third.
That was just a shot by Reed. He said, well, I haven't had a touch for a while. I'm just going to take it over there, and he's open. He can make it, but looks like just feels like he's not getting enough touches.
From close range, foul is called. Were you guilty of that at any stage in your career, Andrew?
Not usually, because I was getting enough.
He was getting touches. Don't worry about that.
I've never, no problem.
Was Copes guilty of that from time to time?
Oh, occasionally. More guilty than I, but understandable. Of course, your stars need to get the ball. And
They don't know what they're doing. No clue.
Brian Goorjian
Just play.
has...
I'm talking to my player.
You're talking disrespectfully about the officiating.
No, it's fine,
So
it's
please don't. Please don't. I'm asking you politely. Thank you.
2.
He still managed to smile. Good on him.
Been very vocal, Brian Goorjian, in his assessment. And a couple of times he's had what appeared to be some good reason for complaint.
Just bites his tongue at the right moments, though, doesn't he?
Overall, 13 fouls on the Hawks, 11 on Brisbane. The free throw count, 19-9, the attempts in favour of Brisbane. So the margin back to 7.
Get up! Hand slam!
The shot clock is going to be some 7 seconds inside the game clock. Tom Mays showed some tricks, got it done. Chance at a 3-point play. He is creative.
Strong take. Ratan Mays coming up a little worse for wear as he hit the deck along the baseline.
It is. He's shown in these early stages of the season he can do a bit of everything. He can knock down the 3. We saw against Adelaide, he knocked down a couple of big 3s. And that's another example of just using the body. Harrison goes up. In fact, Harrison a little unlucky on that one. It looked like Tom Mays may have just pushed off a little bit with the off arm and works his way to the basket for a potential and one.
He played 5 games in the NBA with Memphis. He's played for Canada at under-19 level and won a championship in Greece as well with AEK.
Thessaloniki.
So he's been around. Couldn't get the extra there. So the margin is 5 and a chance for the Brisbane Bullets to extend it.
Yeah.
Here's Kadee kicking outside. They got Franks a good look here, and he makes no mistake. What a finish to term number 3.
Big hit on the 3/4 time buzzer, and what a great find from Kadee.
Well, the margin is extended out to 8 after the Hawks had put their noses in front. We've got a great final quarter coming your way if they can maintain this hot streak from outside. And Brisbane might upset the Hawks. It's Brisbane 75, Hawks 67 here on Sunday Hoops. Both teams in front in 2 of the 3 quarters so far, and an 8-point edge in favour of the home team, Brisbane. But certainly the Hawks with some momentum as well as we go into quarter number 4. We've got a lot to look forward to here to see if the undefeated Hawks remain that way or if the 9th place Brisbane Bullets can upset them and get their first win at home in their first home game of the new season.
A good quality game, and Brisbane have done well from the 3-point line. Half their shots have come from there. They're 12 and 25 from beyond the arc.
Good input from the fans as well. Great atmosphere at Nissan Arena. And the shot comes quickly, but unsuccessfully, and the Hawks will get another chance now.
They've struggled to get Patterson involved. Patterson hasn't been poor, just hasn't been involved all that much. 3 of 6 from the field, only has the 1 rebound. And full credit to Illawarra and what they've been able to do to take him out of the contest.
Hasn't scored since half-time. Here's Jessup. He's been quiet by his high standards as well, but he adds another 2 here.
Again, they do it right to begin the quarter, the Hawks. Simple action for Jessup. Punishes the trailing defense, gets right to the cup.
Harrison off the window, couldn't complete it. Sam Froling grabs the rebound. Number 9 for him in that category, the most in the game. Margin cut to 6 at the offensive end. He takes them on. Harrison called for the foul. It's his 3rd personal.
Good roll to the rim there from Froling. And engages the body, as Drew's been talking about, of the shot blocker, just to create a little bit of separation. And you talk about Patterson not getting super involved, Drew. It hasn't been a lot of Patterson or Sobey lighting up the scoreboard for Brisbane, and the Bullets, well, they've, for the most part, limited the impact of Tyler Harvey and Justinian Jessup. So other guys having to step up at the offensive end, but you know 1 or 2 of those big stars will get going in this 4th.
Here's Franks, baseline, stops, pops, comes up with the goods.
He is a stud. Sam McKinnon, the recruiting team of Brisbane, between Vic Law last season and Frank this season, doing a great job. And is that Froling?
That was Harry. Big Harry again. He's 3 of 3 from deep. He's got 13 points and 4 of 4 from the field overall. Margin cut to 4. Well, this is exactly what unfolded at the start of the 3rd, where the Hawks made their run and came from 9 down to lead it on a 16-6 run inside the space of 4 minutes. And they're coming again.
Push off foul. Here's Froling. Fake, or not even faking the handoff. Harrison decides to go under, gives him plenty of time, and he knocks down the 3-ball. And they're doing this without Harvey. Harvey only 2 of 6 from the field. When I say not without him, without him being too involved. Only has the 5 points, but this is Harvey time. The game gets close. That's where he seems to impose himself on the game.
And Harrison sits with 4 fouls now. To Harvey. On cue. Works into the paint, the floater, front of the rim, and it tumbles.
This is when he gets aggressive. Tyler Harvey. Saw it in crunch time the other night against New Zealand. We saw it time and time again last season.
First score in the second half for Tyler Harvey. What has Brisbane got for us? Good D from Harry Froling there. Just held Robert Franks at bay. This is as good as he's played this season, Harry Froling. Shot clock to 10. Oh, what a pass from Sobey. Found Deng.
That's just knowing and reading the defense and knowing where your teammate's going to be. The wraparound no-looker by Sobey. Beautiful pass.
In traffic as well. Look at Harry Froling, wheeling and dealing, and cleans up his own offensive rebound and a putback.
Oh, he's feeling it. Harry Froling, a team-high 15 now against his old team in his old home building.
Again, the crowd just with plenty to think about from close range. Deng gets it done again.
Perfect execution once again. The extra pass.
Go out to the corner, and filling it up out there is Cleveland. 12 in the game now for Cleveland. And it's a 1-point ball game. Took over 3 minutes played here in the fourth quarter. Sobey off the mark. Reaching in Franks, just dislodged that from Froling and wins it back for the Bullets. They need a steadier. Patterson found an opening, got down low and banks 2 off the window. Here's Harvey. This time can't convert. Ball springs free. Jessup drawing plenty of attention. Foul's going to be called on the Bullets here as we go courtside with John Guana.
Yeah, guys, I spoke to Harry Froling before the game, and I asked him flat out, is this game any extra motivation for you? And he looked me right in the eye, and he said no. But I got to tell you, after this performance and the way he's playing here in this fourth quarter, I think he might have been telling some porky pies.
Well, your motivation level is going to be high, but you also feel comfortable in a stadium that you've played a lot of basketball games in, so a combination of the two. And also, opportunity. He's getting some minutes. And he's going to earn some more if he keeps playing at this level. I thought it was a real interesting signing, Harry Froling, how he's going to fit in when you've got Reed and Sam and AJ, who had a decent year last year, but clearly out of the rotation now. But as it is with the maestro, Brian Gorgie, he rarely gets it wrong.
He makes things happen. And Harry Froling's dealt 15 points in 15 minutes here, 5 of 6 shooting, including 3 of 3 from deep. Collision there with Drink and Antonius Cleveland.
Just trying to lock and trail and go around, and just thought the shortest distance was through the defense rather than around the defense.
Well, Gorge has been frustrated about the free throw count throughout the game. I tell you what, it's a big chance to even up down the stretch here. Brisbane over the limit. Still 6 minutes and change remaining. And just like that play, the Hawks it's going to be a parade to the free throw line for them the rest of the way.
5 fouls in less than 4 minutes, and Harrison with his 4th is sitting down at the moment. Hawks have already been kind enough to hand over some burgers for the fans in Queensland. If you've joined us late, Sam Froling missed both in the opening quarter. It was in the first 5 minutes. It might become important down the stretch, as Liam Santa Maria has suggested. The free throws. It's Brisbane by 2. 6 minutes to play. Patterson.
I really like the call that time. Get Patterson in. We saw a couple of plays ago. We had the drive off the bounce. This time run a little shuffle cut for him to post up. Now he's in a crowd, and that extra pass, like we've seen, was going to be on. You saw Deng Deng underneath the basket. They've done a really good job of forcing the help and then finding the open man around the basket. They've done it well so far in this fourth.
First team foul on the Hawks in this quarter. And now they've got another, and Harvey has picked up the foul. That's going to be his 4th personal.
Good awareness from Patterson. Just could see that Harvey had no vision on the ball. Sobey didn't even know the pass was on, to be honest. But Patterson put it right in his mitts.
Tyler Harvey only found out once all last season. Here's Sobey from deep. It's off the mark. And a chance for the Hawks. Harvey, well, just caught it, fired it straight away. Couldn't complete it, and the Bullets crashed the boards. Up to 5.5 to play. Sobey for Franks. Well, they left him alone. He had time to scoop up the pass that he bobbled and still knocked down the 3. He's got 16.
Robert Franks is very, very, very good at basketball.
Here's Harvey once more off the mark. Patterson the rebound. We're energized at the moment. The Hawks have challenged him in the 3rd and again here in the final quarter.
That's going to be on. You see the way Illawarra are playing their on-ball screens. They're hard showing, and there it is with the pick and pop. And the rotations have to come from so far away. That see Harry Froling coming from all the way. And then that time there was just a poor pass. Franks was going to be wide open. Lamar Patterson tries to create some space for himself and gets called for the push-off.
3rd personal.
You see his right arm extend there. Push Harry Froling away. Easy call for the official.
So, 4:59 to play. Brisbane 86, Illawarra 81.
Oh,
Big Lou.
the back of that Brisbane huddle. Jack Salt, the two backup centres for the Bullets. James Duncan has got a little smaller in this fourth quarter with the Hawks keeping the Froling brothers out there. He's moved Franks to the 5. Ding Ding's come in to play at the 4 spot in response to the Hawks lineup, and as a result, his backup big's not part of the rotation down the stretch here.
Who wins from here, Liam? It's momentum shifts we've had. Who knows who wins from here?
Oh.
Tough call.
As Drew said at half-time, this was clear this one was going to go down to the wire. The Hawks were going to respond, down 9 at the half. And they've done that, but I think Brisbane, the 5-point lead and at home, probably give them the edge.
Well, both teams shooting the ball at 40% and above from long range. And if you think you can hit a shot, a full court shot at an NBL game, well, get involved. Head to the NBL website win page to enter for your chance to shoot for $100,000 in the Latrobe Financial Sharp Shot. If you miss your first attempt, you get a second go from half court for $50K. Gee, I'd be happy with that. Either or, get involved. Great support from Latrobe Financial. Jessup, almost in slow motion, stepping through with a non-preferred right hand to add another 2 to his tally. Into double figures now. And the margin is 3. 4.5 on the clock. Drimmick. Hasn't scored since the opening quarter, Drimmick. Now just a little fancy behind the back from Sobey, and it's picked off.
They're the types of mistakes you can't have when you're getting to the last few minutes in a tight ball game. They're the ones that come back to haunt you and unnecessary.
Can't afford to foul either, the Bullets. Jessup fires the triple. Can't complete it. Sobey had it dragged out of his hands by Franks with Brisbane. Control the ball.
One stop.
Inside 4 to play. Sobey. And it's Stutter. Bishop. Nice feed. And Franks is fouled.
Another beautiful little drop off there from Sobey. Saw him dime up Ding Ding in somewhat similar fashion a few possessions back. There, just a beautiful little hesitation. Got down the lane, engaged the help D, and found his big fella down low.
John Guana courtside.
Yeah, Coach Duncan was trying to get a set to get Lamar Patterson back in the post. He really likes that matchup that he has down there. Hawks, though, doing a good job denying Patterson, and a good read there by Sobey to create that opportunity for Franks.
Well, they got the little guys. They got the 2 bigs. That's where you got to send a similar action that we used to run. You put the little guy in as the post. So if they switch, because they're just switching that cut with Patterson. If you switch, you've got the little guy on him. But right now, with the big being the screener, you're switching like for like.
First trip to the free throw line in this quarter for Brisbane, and they came up empty. Hawks pressing, unsuccessfully though. And here's Sobey. Support with him as well. Wide open Patterson off the mark. And now Cleveland wants to play up tempo. Gets it in from close range, and Sam Froling is there for the 2 and a chance at a 3-point play.
My. When Antonius Cleveland puts the Jets on,
yes,
he is so tough in transition. The Bullets doing everything they can to keep up with him. And just drops it off for Froling. Finishes through the contact.
Sam Froling, 2 of 5 from the free throw line in this game. Missed both to start it, but when they count most, he's done it. Draws them level. 3:27 to play, and we're tied up. Remembering the Hawks came from 15 down against New Zealand to win the game on Friday. They've come from 15 down in this game as well. But they've let Sobey open in the corner, and he helps himself to 3.
Well, that's huge. Great for his confidence. Before that shot, he was 2 of 9, but no hesitation. Knocks down a huge 3 for his 11th point of the afternoon.
Inside 3 to play. Sam Froling. Shot clock to single numbers. Cleveland can't complete it. And Sobey has the rebound. Waves off Kadee. Now looking to go solo. Switches to the right hand and rattles around the rim and tumbles for Nathan Sobey.
He's happy too. He's been relatively contained, and in the last 30 seconds knocks down a three, and then we see the wide open three, and in the very next play he had Franks. Franks was wide open but took it upon himself, gets it to the rim, gets the friendly roll, and dare I say it, they're using friendly roll, and it drops in. Hey, while we have a minute here, just a quick shout out to Josh Giddey. OKC, our boy, was playing in the team in the NBL last season. He's just missed out on a triple-double in a win over the Clippers with 18 rebounds, 10 assists and 8 points. So well done to Josh Giddey.
Superstar.
And here's some of the highlights of the second half, or of the game, and Franks has been a delight to watch.
Yeah, this is a nice little Robert Franks reel as he's pieced together another really good performance. The only guy in the NBL coming into this game averaging 20 and 10. Reed very, very close to that mark, and that's a whole lot of why. His ability to knock it in from long range. Look at that, 4 from 7. Catching it in transition, picking, popping, getting open on the arc. It's been a little tougher inside. Tonight they've kept him off the offensive glass. That matchup with Duop Reed hasn't been able to overpower him in the block at all, but has found other avenues. And you love the passion from Nathan Sobey before that timeout.
Well, and the confidence too. You know, you're 2 of 9, you start second guessing yourself, but it's just not the confidence he has in himself, it's the confidence that the others have in him to continue to go to him despite having his challenges on the offensive end.
Here's Harvey. He's ready to go from deep. Couldn't get it over the front of the rim. Kadee with it. And a chance now for the Bullets. They've scored the last 5 after scores were level. And Sobey going solo again and drawing a foul. He's off to the free throw line. Sam Froling doesn't like the call.
There's no opportunity to challenge. They've used that. It was unsuccessful.
I think it was a little push in the back. I don't know if it's called for the hands, but see that left hand there? You can't see it from that angle, but he gave him just a slight shove in the back. So if the call was a push, it was probably the correct call. Not a lot in it, though.
Brian Gorchin out of timeout, so they're going to have to do this solo on the court.
We spoke about Tyler Harvey taking matters into his own hands. This is Nathan Sobey. Just making things happen himself.
Keep in mind, as you watch Nathan Sobey do this in this 4th quarter, he was a game-time decision coming off that peck issue. They're just going to check the clock, make sure the game clock didn't start there, so they've got to take it all the way back to the other end of the floor. But they weren't sure. A couple of hours before tip-off, they weren't sure whether he was going to play. So this has been tough stuff from him. 13 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. Coming up big in this 4th quarter.
Well done. Look at the Brisbane fans, first home game, getting right into it.
He scored the last 7 points of the game, Nathan Sobey. We were tied at 86 with 3:27 on the clock. Harvey again came up short. Good scramble for the loose ball, and Sobey's got it again. He's off and running, takes them on, shut down by Sam Froling. Great defensive play to keep the Hawks' chances alive. Jessup goes to him, and he's run the floor and throws it down at the other end.
And that's a tough one where you've got a really big decision to make. Sobey's in that offensive frame of mind. He's scored the last 7 or so, but this is one he probably should have pulled out. Use the clock. Your clock's your friend. Instead, within an instant, it comes back, and straight away, they get the 2. So it's tough because you're confident, you're feeling good about yourself. You make that basket and it's virtually game over. Instead, you miss it, go down, quick score, and it's game on.
It's a fine line. That's what we love, the NBL. Going to the next level, and what a ride this has been for the fans in Brisbane at Nissan Arena for their first home game of the season. 3 on the road to start for Brisbane. They go home and they certainly put on a show. Can they hold on? Clock management a little better on this occasion as Sobey watches it roll down to 10. Franks is the man. Can't finish it. Ball out of court. The Hawks will get it again.
Again, it's getting down there, but it's still a relatively early shot. It certainly wasn't in the last few seconds, and not a bad look from Franks.
Oh, no, the Hawks are used to tight finishes, and Tyler Harvey stepping up in tight finishes. Double overtime win against New Zealand on Friday night. Maybe extra time again here.
We'll never lose confidence. Tyler Harvey goes straight to the floater. 3-point game.
Sobey, penetration was good. Bangs 2 off the window. What a final quarter this has been from Sobey. 9 of his 17 in the fourth. Out of the 20 that Brisbane have come up with. Harvey dancing, shaking, baking. Oh, do a breathe. Throws down a 2.
Huge possession here. Hawks need a stop desperately.
Can't afford to foul. Sobey looked to be bumped, no whistle. Here's Kadee. Shot clock works to 10. Puts it on the deck. And great defense from the Hawks.
That's a jumbo. That's Norway. That's a ball. It's not required, man. It's not required.
It's as good as a stop for Brisbane, because they're going to get possession. Geez, I don't like that rule.
Michael, and they're both...
Yes, throw it up, jump balls. Let the players decide rather than a little arrow on the sideline. But this is great defense. Gets in there, 2 hands, and just smothered Sobey. And they come up with it.
Back up. Down, please. Down. Get down.
So always that fine line between how much Sobey is too much and how much is not enough. That one may have just gone a little bit too much Sobey orientated.
This for the tie. Only off the mark. Ball knocked down out of court. Brisbane will get possession. Timeout called. 14 seconds to play. Brisbane up 3 and will get possession. What an entertaining affair this has been. Both teams in the 90s. Both teams shooting the ball at a great clip from long range. It's had it all. And this is first versus 9th.
Wow, early days. Can't read too much into the small sample size, but we've got 2 quality teams going at it with some outstanding talent on both teams, and we're seeing it on display here. It's a real early one by Tyler Harvey there. It was a deep one, and we've seen him make it. Probably one of the most dangerous players in crunch time is Tyler Harvey, so take nothing away from him. But as we look now, they're going to have to get into that foul game, you'd expect. They'll advance the ball here, get it in there, half of the court. And then if you can't get something real early, then you've got no choice other than to try and get into the foul game.
Need a cape for Nathan Sobey.
Oh, he's been sensational. What a fourth quarter he's had.
This is the 7th game in round 3. Yep. All 6 so far have been won by the home team, including earlier today, Melbourne beat New Zealand 83-60. Only once last year in 21 rounds did the home team win every game in a round. It's unusual.
Wow.
But we've got 6 so far. Brisbane here, Perth against Tasmania coming up, and then Sydney against the Jack Jumpers on Wednesday.
Some time for the Hawks here. Don't have to foul straight away if they can get a trap. Have to foul now. They try to get that trap. Sobey in the corner.
And they got the right man, because Patterson's free throw shooting has been woeful this season.
And that's the decision there, to not foul Sobey instantly, who we know is money from the stripe. Try to get a trap, see if he can force a steal. It gets out of his hands. They foul Patterson to stop the clock.
Now, I like the call. I like the fact that it wasn't an unsportsmanlike, but I've seen that where you're just reaching out and grabbing the guy as an unsportsmanlike
Changing the
before.
clock, changing the clock.
But It seems like a little bit more common sense has prevailed.
Clock is now correct.
Let's remember Patterson missed those 2 free throws in Tassie in round 1.
Missed a couple already tonight, hasn't he?
Yep.
And missed another one.
4 of 7 coming into this game, Patterson, from the free throw line, and none of 3 here. Well, that's big. Gives him a 4-point buffer.
Need a quick basket here.
Harvey against Sobey. Will elevate for the triple. Tough shot. Couldn't get it to go. Brisbane snatched the rebound. Oh, Patterson's given it up to Duop. Breathe for the 3 on the buzzer. Couldn't get it done. And the Bullets have prevailed. Oh, heart in your mouth stuff here from the Brisbane Bullets, but they have got across the line, and the Hawks' undefeated start to the season is over. It's Brisbane 96, Illawarra 92 in a barn burner.
Big win for Brisbane. Coming up against the team at the top of the table. Home opener in front of your passionate home fans. And you tough it out in crunch time. Geez, the Hawks came strong in that 4th quarter.
They did.
And with Nathan Sobey, Robert Franks, all making big plays down the stretch. And there's your Foot Locker player of the game right there. Nathan Sobey, 17, 5 and 5, including a number of huge plays, scoring and setting up his teammates in that 4th quarter.
Well, if it wasn't for the 4th quarter, it was below par for Nathan Sobey. But when the game mattered the most, Nathan Sobey stepped up with some huge play, a huge 3 in the corner, and then the way in which he was able to get to the rack and make things happen. Really good win by the Illawarra Hawks. They had to withstand by the Brisbane Bullets. They had to withstand a late charge and a strong charge by the Illawarra Hawks, but good enough to keep their composure and hang on.
What a way to start their homestand for the Brisbane Bullets. They've beaten the Hawks by 4. We'll be back to wrap it up here on Sunday Hoops right after this. Oh, what an entertaining affair this turned out to be in Brisbane at Nissan Arena. The Bullets led by as many as 13 in the first quarter, by 15 in the second, but then the Hawks came storming back into the frame and took the lead in the third quarter before getting back on level terms with 3.5 minutes to play. And in the final analysis, Brisbane found a way across the line, 96-92, on the back of some heroics from Nathan Sobey.
They did, and it was a really good all-round performance by Brisbane. They got good performances from a variety of different places, different sources, and it really was a game where great composure, because Illawarra, with all their talent coming at them, and I know both these teams have had games this weekend, but to be able to hang on like this under these circumstances, to their credit. And Nathan Sobey, we can't speak more highly of what he's doing, but James Duncan, the coach of Brisbane, he has put together a team that really seems to understand their roles. They can knuckle down on this in their system, and gee, look at that, a little love for Dad. Is that Daddy? A little love anyway for Nathan Sobey. But Sobey with 17 points, Franks with 16, and I think that Franks has still got a lot more to give. He is fantastic, and down the other end, a great game for Froling with 15 and Reith with 15, and they did a good job of limiting or nullifying Harvey in particular and Jessup.
Look at the three-point shooting there for the Bullets. 14 made threes at nearly 44%. That's outstanding shooting, and some really key ones down the stretch there, weren't there? Nathan Sobey, Robert Franks, massive plays, and Drew is bang on. The effort, if you can keep the wraps on Tyler Harvey, you're going to have a chance to beat this Illawarra team. They did it to Bryce Cotton when they beat Perth, 5 of 23 from the field, and they kept Tyler Harvey to single digits today.
Don't think too many people had Brisbane in their top 4 pre-season, but with a win like that and winning in Perth and what they've got to work with, gee,
well,
they're going to make a good push.
A lot of people said that they were gone, they were finished, they were going to be rubbish. They're far from that.
They were very impressive. Trust you've enjoyed our coverage today. Brisbane get over the Hawks by 4. On behalf of Andrew Gaze, Liam Santamaria, John Guana at courtside, and our whole crew working hard behind the scenes, I'm John Casey. We look forward to your company soon. Don't forget, still to come, Perth and Tassie a little later here on Sunday Hoops.
It's game time and I'm up one. Name something I ain't done. Name a body that's my type. Air Jordan, I'll take flight. I'm next level, I'm franchise. I'm top tier, I'm that guy. I'm the man of the year. I'm a man with no fear. I think like I'm a shark. The way I move so sharp. I go hard for the team.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade.